know, they're really creepy, and just the sight of them, ugh, can make your skin crawl. We are talking about bed bugs, and they are a growing problem here and across the country. Seattle-based legal and health website Avvo.com has been getting a lot of questions about what tenants should do if they end up with bed bugs in their rental properties. And joining me today is Scott Weaver, a Seattle attorney who specializes in landlord-tenant law. Thank you so much for stopping by. We were just talking about how this is a really unpleasant discussion, but it's an important one to have because you are getting a lot of questions about bed bugs.
It's a significant problem, not just in Seattle, but nationally now.
What is the most, well, I guess, what's the number one question that you're getting, Scott?
The number one question is what to do. If you're a residential tenant and you determine that you've got bed bugs, how do you handle it?
Let's talk about a couple of specific scenarios. One, if you are living in a big apartment building in a unit, and one if you're renting a house. Fortunately,
in the state of Washington, there's laws that do protect the tenant. So if you determine there's bed bugs in your unit, you immediately contact your landlord.
Okay.
You send an email, you make a phone call, and most importantly, you write a letter. You send it first-class mail, certified mail, and you spell out all the details. You say, landlord, I'm at this unit, at this address. I've got bed bugs. I need you to deal with it, and I expect you to pay for it.
Is that what should happen in every situation?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
Often, if the tenant brings the bed bug to the situation, which is not easy to prove, fortunately, unlike roaches or fleas, where a tenant may do something, they have a dirty apartment, they have pets they don't take care of properly, it's hard to prove that a tenant brought the bed bug to the situation.
Okay.
So more often than not, if you're in an apartment situation, the landlord's going to have to come in once you give notice and take care of that situation and pay for that situation.
And it's a different scenario if you are, say, renting a house outside of Seattle, outside of the city, is that right?
If you're outside of the city of Seattle, the law doesn't protect you in that same regard if you're a tenant.
Okay.
The landlord can literally place that responsibility on you. So you may be responsible for taking care of the bed bugs in your home that you're renting if you live in Yakima, for instance.
Oh dear. So it really is depending on where you are, and you need to do the research and figure out what the laws are there.
Very much so.
How difficult is it, how expensive is it to get rid of bed bugs?
It can be shockingly expensive. Unlike a flea situation where you bring in a fumigator, you set off a bomb and you kill them, in this situation it takes 3 or 4 times to take care of the problem. And it's a very complicated process. It can cost up to $1,000 per room.
$1,000 per room?
If you have a 2-bedroom, 1,200 square foot apartment, you may be spending $4,000 to take care of the problem.
Oh my goodness. Do you ever get questions about someone having paid for the service and the bed bugs are still there?
Well, that's a complicated question because yes, you do.
Okay.
And who was the one that took care of the problem? Was it the landlord or the tenant? Who has to pay for this? At the end of the day, there can be fights over should the tenant be paying for it or the landlord. And that's why giving notice for the tenant is so incredibly important.
Wow, so get it in writing. You know, that kind of legal mess can make a bad situation even worse.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Scott, thank you so much for being here. For more information about this, just go to our website, KOMOnews.com, and click on KOMO 4 TV.